Hello dear friends, I'm Marina with your weekly horoscope for the week of the 27th of May through the 2nd of June. During this week we have some very positive aspects of Venus. Venus is in Taurus, a very strong sign position for Venus, and on top of that it will have a sextile with Neptune and trine with Saturn and Pluto. So Venus is supported during this week, which is great for the area of relationships and love and harmony, and also all kinds of pleasures and entertainments and the ability to experience more joy and comfort in our lives. On the other hand, Mercury will be in a specific position. Essentially, or the sign position of Mercury is also very strong. Mercury is in Gemini, one of the signs that it rules. So that's great. But what's the challenge here? The challenge is that during the week, Mercury will have a square with Neptune. And this aspect can mess things up. So we have to be extra careful with all kinds of details, information, possible misunderstandings, or mistakes, or we can forget something, or sometimes, unfortunately, we may fall into the trap of some kind of illusions. So I think that this is the most important for this week. Of course, we're gonna discuss all of those indications in more details in a few seconds, but that's, like the general perspective of the week. Venus is very powerful, very strong, very harmonious during the whole week, and Mercury, even though the quality is high, the essential position is very high, there are possible challenges. So in the area of communication, intellectual work, planning and so on, we need to be more careful. Now, as usual, I will go through the days. Remember that you can find all of the needed information below the video, including timestamps with the daily horoscope. So if you want to come back later and check the forecast for a specific day, you can always do that. And when we go through the days, of course, I will analyze the most important influences during each day. Before we dive deeper into our weekly horoscope, let me remind you that you can sign up for the waitlist for MarStars Astrology Academy. It will start during September and the group will be limited. So if you want to learn the basis and the foundation of astrology and have this, ability to see the whole picture, to interpret the whole chart, not only one aspect or one sign position or, the details, but also to be able to include that in an overview perspective, then that's what this training is gonna give you. In the description, you will find the link. You can see the whole program. And if you have some questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Now, let's continue with our weekly horoscope, of course. The 27th of May, Monday. This is a very, calm day, I would say. The transit moon will be in Pisces during the whole day. This position is one of the more specific in my opinion, and we may feel a little bit more dreamy. We may not be so concentrated or so grounded. Generally, the physical energy is also not so strong. So for things that require more physical effort or hard work or more intensity, usually it's not so positive. Just, we are not so productive. We are not so strong. On the other hand, what's positive to do is focus on something more creative. Keep in mind that also the transit moon will make conjunction with Neptune on Monday. That's very powerful, very supportive for creative projects, for something that requires imagination, inspiration, creativity, wisdom. And also, if you're willing to help someone else, do something positive for other people. This position of the moon is also very, very supportive. Now, what kind of risks do we have here? The risk is that you may not be well grounded, in touch with reality, and sometimes, we may just feel kind of lazy, just need more time to relax, more time to stay on our own. The desire to even to communicate with other people is not so strong. So, if possible, take this time for yourself to, connect to yourself emotionally, maybe do a short meditation or, read something spiritual, something which will inspire you, something that you love. Don't force yourself to do activities which require lots of physical effort or, higher intensity. If you're willing to do something physical, for example, swimming is a nice idea. But overall, don't be too harsh with yourself and don't push yourself too much with complicated tasks that require lots of logic, lots of, how to say that? Well, to be very focused on the details. Usually it's not so easy when the moon is in Pisces. Okay, the 28th of May, Tuesday, we have a semi-sextile between Venus and Mercury. Very harmonious aspect for communication, especially when it comes to some personal contact. This could be communication with friends, with partners, with people that you love, or sometimes this may also be related to business negotiations and business partnerships. So both of the planets, as I already said, are very strong. Mercury in Gemini, the sign that it rules, Venus in Taurus, also the sign that it rules. So the two planets are at home. They are in the most positive, harmonious positions that they can be. So it makes the planets more powerful and willing to give us more opportunities in those areas. So, first of all, communication, expression of emotions. Also, when it comes to some material issues, remember that Venus in Taurus is also very good for financial decisions and decisions related to our resources. And Mercury can help you to be more rational, more focused on certain issues, and also to have some ideas which eventually can help you to improve your financial situation, your resources, and everything. So overall, that's a great aspect. The other news for Tuesday is that the transit moon will make an ingression. Until 1:30 p.m. approximately Eastern time, the moon is in Pisces. So more imagination, more creativity, more intuition also. And during the second half of the day, the transit moon enters Aries. So we have more energy, more action, desire to take some new initiatives or even to take certain risks. So the shift is very, very significant from Pisces to Aries. The difference is huge. So on Tuesday, you may notice a huge difference between the first half of the day and the second half of the day. If you want to take action on something in terms of business, work, anything which requires more physical energy, the second half of the day would be definitely more productive. As usual, the risks of the Aries moon are related to possible aggression sometimes, or impatience, or possible confrontations. Here, the positive aspect between Mercury and Venus actually can help us to, to be more delicate when it comes to communicating with others. So I doubt that, this will be a major issue for us, serious confrontations or aggression. But, however, we may still be more cautious with that. And for anything physical, sports, business, starting new things, initiating something, being proactive, the second half of the day would be very positive. Next, we have the 29th of May, Wednesday. The challenging aspect between Mercury and Neptune. There is a square. Mercury is in Gemini and Neptune is in Pisces. So the most interesting about this aspect is that both of the planets are extremely strong. They are both at home or in the signs that they rule, which means that, you know, the conflict is very powerful, very strong, and they're equally strong. So none of the planets is dominating. But what we should know about this aspect is that it can really mess up our minds. So you may not be so concentrated. You can make a mistake, you may forget something, or you may have some ideas which are not realistic, which are coming from your imagination, but to turn them into reality is a whole different story, which may turn to be very difficult. So my advice for you would be to check things. If you need to sign up something, document stuff, contracts, or all kinds of plans, actually, be extra careful. Make sure that you understand everything correctly. Or if this is extremely important, ask someone else to check your work and give you their opinion. So don't take fast decisions, especially if they're based on emotions. This can be not the best decision for you. So just, make sure that your logical mind is also checking things for you. On the other hand, what's the positive side? I always say that every aspect, every astrology indication has a positive but also challenging side. And even the challenging aspects can have positive sides. So with this case, the square between Mercury and Neptune, the positive side is that your imagination can be extremely active. You might be extremely creative, have some very inspiring ideas, maybe related to something beautiful, something creative, something which will help other people. So use this time for a meditation, for a prayer, for spiritual work. This might be a great aspect as well. And also activities which require efforts, activities in the area of creativity and imagination, which also require certain effort. For writers, for speakers, for people who use Mercury, they express themselves or they work in the area of communication, but at the same time they also need an inspiration and creativity. This aspect can be great in the cases when you are ready to do the work, to put the efforts to overcome some possible challenges or limitations. In those cases, the aspect can actually bring you even more positive energy if you are ready to commit to the needed work that has to be done. So yeah, overall, it's an interesting aspect. The other aspect on Wednesday, square and a half between the Sun and Pluto. This aspect can bring certain power struggles or possible confrontations or even manipulations. People might be more suspicious, or they may experience certain trust issues, or might be very sensitive when it comes to control. So be very careful with others, with yourself, and keep in mind that this aspect can make it more difficult for you to work with a team or with a group or with some kind of community. You may feel like you are on your own, or you are not supported by others, or you are not accepted. So don't ask for approval, don't ask for support. Try to do more things on your own to, take back your control or the power that you have to change the things that you want. And this aspect is also very powerful if you are very certain that you want to transform something about yourself, about your life, and absolutely anything actually, which includes you in, as a leading role. Also, the transit moon is in Aries on Wednesday, so lots of action, lots of fire energy, desire to do something, desire to take risks or to be more independent. Sometimes, to not to make compromises, actually, to insist on your own opinion and to do what you truly want. So for business, for independent activities and projects, Wednesday is actually very, very intense. Next, we have the 30th of May, Thursday. Venus has a beautiful aspect during this day, sextile with Neptune. Both of the planets are in great positions. Neptune in Pisces, Venus in Taurus. So the two planets are extremely strong, and at the same time they are supporting each other. This is very, very positive for art, for creating something beautiful, for inspiration, for finding more joy in life, enjoying, anything which is beautiful, which is inspiring to you. For artists, for people who need more joy and beauty in their life, this aspect is fantastic. Also, it can make you more romantic, more sensitive, more compassionate. For relationship, the aspect is also very beautiful. To show your feelings to your partner, to show your softness, your positive emotions, your support to your partner. Great, absolutely fantastic aspect. The other two aspects on Thursday are related to our communication and how we connect to each other. Mercury will have two aspects. Semi-square with Uranus. This aspect can bring some surprises, something unexpected, reactions from people which we haven't planned and expected also. But on the positive side, the aspect can bring some sudden ideas, new decisions, new approaches, new perspectives. So for trying new things, experimenting, maybe even taking certain risks, this aspect can be positive. In the area of communication, there might be something unexpected, there might be even a certain level of tension, but overall, the final impact can be very interesting because Mercury is very strong. Mercury is in Gemini, the sign of its rulership. On top of that, Mercury will have another aspect, quincunx with Saturn. The quincunx is one of those interesting aspects which sometimes are not so easy because at first they can affect us as squares. So there might be limitations, challenges, obstacles, pessimism in this case when we have Saturn included. Also certain delays, actually, things may not happen as fast as we want to, but if we are hardworking, if we are patient and consistent and we do the work, the outcome can be very positive because the quincunx may turn into a sextile, a positive aspect. So our decisions might be more logical, we might be more organized and structured and able to plan certain things. And actually for business and for work, this aspect can be very positive. The other interesting aspect which Mercury will make is an opposition with Jupiter. Major challenging aspect which requires from us to be more careful when it comes to our priorities. Don't pay too much attention to small things, and also don't neglect the bigger picture or the whole meaning of something. Again, the two planets are equally strong because Mercury is in Gemini and Jupiter is in Sagittarius, the signs that those two planets are ruling. So equally strong and powerful. And on the negative side, we may really feel pulled in two different directions. We may feel like we need to change something about our plans, about our approaches. The intellectual area can also be quite active, quite intense. But it's time for a change when it comes to decisions and plans and certain goals. Other people may also take part in this process. The oppositions may always include someone else, your partner, a co-worker, or just, someone else who brings another perspective. And the outcome, of course, can be positive depending on what we do and how open we are for those changes actually. When it comes to learning things, this can also be a very active aspect, or things like traveling, exploring things, trying to see things from a different perspective. And if you are able to combine those two energies, actually the final result can be great, because Mercury in Gemini allows you to see the details, to be very precise, to dissect things into small elements. On the other hand, Jupiter in Sagittarius can allow you to have a more philosophical point of view, to be able to see the deeper meaning or the long-term goal. And if you combine those things, actually it can be absolutely great. You can have a deeper understanding, a new approach, new perspective, new type of goals, new plans for actions. So quite interesting, I would say. Next, we have the 31st of May, Friday, the very last day of the month. Beautiful aspect between Venus and Saturn. There is a trine, very harmonious aspect in the earth signs. Venus in Taurus and Saturn in Capricorn. What an interesting combination it is. First of all, it can bring more stability in our relationships, more responsibilities. People are very sensitive actually when it comes to security in terms of relationships. So great time actually to decide what you truly want in the area of relationships. For some people, this may even be the decision to commit to a more serious relationship. For some people, this may even be a decision to get married, or to show their partner, that they can truly rely on them and count on them. So a very, very stabilizing aspect when it comes to relationships. In terms of business partnerships, this can also be a fantastic aspect. New business relationships, new financial decisions, people who can support your work financially. So the aspect works great both when it comes to our personal life and also when it comes to business and work. So definitely Friday can be a very, very productive day. Now, on the other hand, we also have a quincunx between Mercury and Pluto. So first of all, this aspect can make you extremely concentrated on something, certain decisions, certain tasks. You might be able to get really deep into certain issue and understand it and be very passionate about this task or project. Now, there is a challenge here. The challenge is that you might be too obsessed with certain idea, or in the area of communication, people might be more sensitive about how you treat them, especially if you try to manipulate the conversation or the situation, or to use a harsher approach. This may not be very productive. But if you also believe in your ideas, in your project, you might be able to convince other people in what you want them to do or what you want to convince them in. So a very intense combination also for intellectual work, for focusing on something and being really constant about, your decisions, your plans, and your actions. Another aspect that we have on Friday is between the Sun and Mars. There is a semi-sextile between those fiery planets. Great aspect for taking action, for feeling more confident, more passionate, more focused on certain project and action. So for every project related to your work, to your career, or something that you want to do independently, something which requires more braveness or even taking certain risks, this aspect can definitely support you. On the other hand, on Friday, the transit moon will be in Taurus, a sign which can make us more grounded, more practical, more patient, more focused on certain practical issues or material stuff, financial decisions, or also great time to connect more to the nature, to focus more on certain pleasures. For example, just stay at home, feel comfortable, have a nice meal, take care of the people that you love. So overall, the aspect brings stability, brings connection to material issues, and more grounded energy. The 1st of June, Saturday. Interesting aspect between Venus and Jupiter. There is a quincunx between those two planets. Now, first of all, this aspect can bring a stronger desire for certain pleasures, to enjoy a lovely meal, or to go to a place which has more, entertainment, more joy, which is comfortable. On the other hand, we may also feel like, there is certain level of frustration which pushes us to take action and make a change. Because the quincunx is one of those specific aspects which at first may bring some disappointment or need to take action and do some work, and eventually there might be positives and benefits for us. So definitely the major topics are about comfort, about success, about prosperity, about joy that we experience. So what you can change about those areas, or how you can make yourself feel more comfortable or even more successful. The other interesting combination is that the transit moon is in Taurus and it will join Venus there. So we have a conjunction between Venus and the moon in Taurus. The most interesting about this aspect is that both of the planets are very strong in this sign position. Venus rules Taurus, so Venus is at home, and the moon in Taurus is in an exalted position, also very strong position, not the strongest possible, but strong enough. So the planets are friends with each other. They are the two feminine planets, and also they feel very comfortable in this sign position. So a great day for relationship stuff, for emotional stuff, feeling comfortable, spending time with family members or people that you love, or generally, experiencing more pleasure. So Saturday can be a fantastic day with lots of calm energy, supportive energy. Show your care, your appreciation and love to the people that are close to you and the people that you actually love. And the 2nd of June, Sunday, we have another beautiful aspect which includes Venus, a trine with Pluto. Aspect which can bring lots of passion, lots of intensity, which should be balanced. So the trine is a harmonious aspect, so we don't expect too much drama or, some extreme intense emotions which we cannot control. Those should be some intense, strong, powerful emotions, but they are also kind of balanced and they connect us deeper to our partner or the people that we love or the things that we love and enjoy. So the aspect is also great for entertainment, for doing something that you are passionate about, some entertainment and hobbies or other things that bring you joy and make you feel more alive. So definitely very, very passionate, intense, emotional combination. On the other hand, the transit moon will be in Gemini, which is the sign of communication, connections, exchange of information. So also wonderful day to spend it with your friends, to do something which engages your mind, plan something or learn something. For traveling, the day is also fantastic. So there might be more dynamic here, more variety, more flexibility, more changes actually overall. So Sunday should be a nice day. As you can see, the whole week is very interesting. I think that the most interesting fact is that we have planets in such strong sign positions. So let's make a recap actually. So we have Neptune in Pisces. It's there for a long time actually, but it's still important. Saturn is in Capricorn, the sign of its rulership, so very strong position. Jupiter is in Sagittarius, the sign of its rulership, so also very strong position. Then we have Venus in Taurus, the sign of its rulership. Mercury in Gemini, the sign of its rulership. And yeah, I think it's quite a lot. Mars is in a weak position, so Mars this week and actually during the next couple of weeks won't be so powerful. So we may need more time to take certain steps. We may try to avoid the risks or the initiatives. What can help us here is to be emotionally engaged with our projects or the things that we want to do. That's what can motivate us. Or when it comes to personal stuff, doing something for your family or the people that you love, or doing something for your home, those areas actually might be quite active. But after all, let's try to focus on the positive sides, the strong planets. So we have, I believe, 5 planets in the signs of their rulerships. Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury. Yes, 5 planets out of 10 are at home in their strongest sign positions. So this is always very supportive and can help you to feel more resourceful, more able to do something, to achieve more, to have better results. So I think that the week can be absolutely great. Don't forget the challenge Mercury and Neptune. We already talked about it. Okay guys, so thank you very much. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist for MarStars Astrology Academy. The group will be limited. We are starting in September. It will be a 9-month training on natal astrology, interpretation of birth charts. We are gonna start from the first steps from A and B, but also I will give you the foundation, so where you should start from, and after that which are the next layers which will eventually lead you to understanding the whole chart and the person himself. So it will be absolutely amazing, and you can check the program through the link below this video. Thank you very much for joining me again. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.